All right, Paul and Bob. Let's say that I have an accident, I get in an accident, and some stupid idiot runs into me, but the cops don't give them a ticket, okay? They don't give the other driver a ticket. Now, I'm out for justice, okay? So what can I do? He didn't get a ticket. I want him to get fines. I want him to get points. I want the whole spiel.
How about jail?
That too. Don't the police know who I am?
All right, well.
What can be done?
I don't know. Ask him.
Somebody.
You know, it's amazing that they don't know who you are, Jill, number one.
Don't they know who you used to be?
But if that's the case and justice is being thwarted by their failure to give a ticket, you do have a remedy. And the remedy is that you can take yourself down to your local municipal court and you can talk to somebody there who works for the courts, one of the clerks or the administrator, and they will have you fill out what's called a probable cause affidavit. And you write down what happened, how you were grievously offended by some other driver. He cut you off and didn't use a turn signal or whatever it was that happened.
Could be attempted murder.
Caused this unfortunate accident. And what they'll do is prepare a document called a complaint and a summons, which will be served upon that person. Now, the caveat or warning for you lay people out there is that this has to be
great when he talks loud.
I know.
This has to be served and received within 30 days. Now, previously, there was a 30-day statute of limitation, which means that you could go to court on the 29th day, you could fill out this affidavit, you could have the complaint signed, and sometime after the 30th day, if it was served, it would be served on the person, that person would have to respond in court. But recently, our appellate division said that not only do you have to file that complaint within the 30 days, but the person has to receive it within 30 days in order for that to be a valid complaint to be heard by the court.
By the way, one other thing. Go to the court where the accident happened, not your local court. I mean, assuming that it happened in your hometown, that's fine. But if you want to sign a complaint, go to the court where the accident occurred, all right?
Okay.
And you'll fill out an affidavit of probable cause. The court administrator or one of the deputy court administrators will look at it. If they find there was probable cause to believe that the accident happened and there was a violation of some part of the traffic laws, they'll issue a ticket and mail it to that other individual, and then you'll go to court and slug it out.
Cool. No, this didn't really happen to me. I just wanted you to know. I just, thought for our listeners.
I don't believe you.
I'm just a really good actress.
Please.
And you play one on TV.
That's right. Remember that, Academy? All right. Well, Bob, anything new with you're always our expert on DWI. So anything new since our last taping?
Yes. The well, not the legislature, but the courts are tightening down tremendously on the procedures to be utilized by third offenders. Now, in New Jersey, the law at this point, and this has been the way it is since 2004, says that if you're a third offender for drunk driving, you have to go to jail, and you have to go to jail for 180 days, okay? Now, there's kind of an exemption to that in the sense that you can get a credit against your jail term of as much as 90 days for time that you spend at an inpatient alcohol rehabilitation facility. Now, people who go to jail in New Jersey, normally they have all kinds of alternatives to jail. There's a program in many counties called SLAP. SLAP is a work program that you can do in lieu of jail. In some places, for certain sentences you can go to jail on weekends or during the week so you don't have to lose your job. Some places they have work release. Other places they have home detention where you can serve your sentence at home. Well, for drunk driving, the way the case law is developing now, none of those options is available to you.
And why is that, Bob?
Because they want drunk drivers to be in jail. And the judiciary has gone so far as to have a directive saying unless there's really compelling circumstances, as soon as the judge pronounces sentence on a third offender, the third offender is to go from the courtroom right to jail.
What about parole?
No, there's some counties that say you're not even eligible for parole. You have to serve your whole 180 days, every single day of it. The whole idea behind this is to take people who have demonstrated, at least on 2 other occasions, that they are not responsible enough to drive without being intoxicated, and put them in the one place that everybody's pretty sure that they're not going to be able to drive drunk, unless, of course, they escape.
Well, stuff that pops into his head.
So, I guess the bottom line on this, though, for third offenders, the likelihood is if you're found guilty, you're going to be going from the courtroom directly to jail.
Good to know. Very good. I feel safe. There are a lot of lawyers in the state other than the 2 of you. I just wanted to let you guys know that. But I always wondered this. With all the different traffic laws, how do you know that your attorney is keeping up on the laws and how they change so much? Any ideas, Paul?
Right now, there's no way. And
Great.
there's absolutely no way to know what your lawyer knows. Probably one of the most tried and true methods of getting a lawyer who's experienced is through word of mouth. I mean, word does get around which lawyers are effective in different areas of the law, and that's always been the case. However, it appears that our Supreme Court is going to be directing lawyers to participate in continuing legal education on a regular basis, and it's going to be a requirement of keeping your license in effect. I mean, doctors have to do this, dentists have to do this, engineers have to do this, and now apparently lawyers are probably going to be having to do this maybe as early as next September, and they will have to fulfill a certain minimum number of hours in order to stay current and have a valid license.
See, in certain areas of the law in New Jersey, lawyers can achieve what's called certification status, meaning that the Supreme Court will designate them as having a higher degree of expertise, so people who go to them can be pretty well assured that you're getting an expert. For example, attorneys who are experts in criminal trials, criminal law, they get certified by the Supreme Court as what are called certified criminal trial attorneys. They have something like that for matrimonial attorneys. They have something like that, I think, for workers' compensation attorneys. They don't have anything like that, though, for what we do for traffic law attorneys. And believe me, it makes an enormous amount of difference about how experienced your attorney is and what his or her knowledge base is, because sometimes these cases get very complicated. They have obscure or complex defenses. Sometimes, you subject yourself to what are called collateral consequences, meaning that something really bad is going to happen to you. You might get a good result in court, but it may result in
a big insurance bill,
or getting suspended from motor vehicles, or losing your job, or getting thrown out of the country. I mean, all kinds of crazy things can happen to you. So it's important that when you utilize a lawyer, you make sure that the attorney is going to understand all this background stuff. I find in our case, word of mouth is good, when clients come to us, but lots of times the clients will have unrealistic expectations because the person who's referred them over to us has said, oh, you got, I got such and such a result, which is a totally exaggerated
Everybody
result.
always knows somebody else that got such a great deal in the exact same case they have.
Exactly. I mean, stuff that it would be impossible to get that kind of a result. So you really kind of have to talk to clients initially and figure out what their expectations are, and then kind of bring them back down to earth and say, well, I think that, given the problems that you have, this is the most likely outcome you can suspect in your case.
And you never know until you get to court exactly how bad the case is, or how good your defense is, or how weak the state's case is. There are so many variables that are entered into the mix. It's uncanny. Sometimes you might have a case that you think is a stone loser. When you get to court, like the primary witnesses in Costa Rica or somewhere, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
What happens is the clients will call us up and say, what's going to happen to my case? And, I have to say very nicely, look, I can't predict anything until we get all the people together in one place at one time. We need the judge, we need the prosecutor, we need the police, we need any other witnesses or victims. We need you, we need me. And lots of times we're going to need a whole lot of luck, too. But once you get everybody together in one place at one time, then you can try to resolve the case. But without all those parties together, it's very difficult sometimes to make predictions with any degree of specificity. You just have to kind of do your best. And, you say to your client, look, you want fairy tales or you want reality?
Most people want fairy tales, unfortunately.
And you do your client a disservice by giving them a fairy tale.
Thanks, Paul and Bob. And as we said earlier in this program, anyone, even the governor, can get into an accident. And as a simple matter of probability, the more you drive, the more likely your accident will happen soon. When the day comes, if you get a ticket, protect your driver's license. Get the help and advice you need to defend yourself by calling our two traffic jam attorneys, Paul Donini and Robert Ramsey, at 609-396-7979. Don't wait until it's too late. If you're in trouble because of traffic tickets, you can get help immediately with a free consultation. I'm Jill Myra, and thanks for joining Paul, Bob, and me on this edition of Traffic Jam. Try to use the information you've gotten on this show while you're out driving, and in the meantime, avoid getting traffic tickets if you can. But if you do get a ticket, we'll try to help you out next time on Traffic Jam.